And hello again, everyone. Christopher Dillard here again with the Conduit and the Community Spotlight. Yes, man, we are out in the community. I am meeting some absolutely great folks, some influential folk that I'm so honored to be able to talk to in the city of Greenville and other areas, Spartanburg and beyond. And I have another great man of God here today that I am so excited to be talking to. We're going to find out where he's from, what he has done since he has been in the city of Greenville, and how he leads a great group of people right here at this wonderful church in which we're sitting right now. And who am I talking about? Let me move up to my camera and bring this great man of God.
Don't break your camera now.
Right on in here. I just want you to look, everybody, and look who we're talking to today. We are talking to his name. Well, he's a doctor. He's got his doctorate, Dr. Byron Battle, right here of the Tabernacle Baptist Church, the historic Tabernacle Baptist Church here in the city of Greenville. Let me straighten up my camera here. And I'm so delighted to be talking to you, Doctor.
Man,
how you doing,
to
sir?
Be here, man. Thank you for.
Now, I see that you're from North Carolina.
Yes,
and are you from a family of preachers? Is that right? Did I see that? Or just
I'm the only preacher in my family, man.
You're the only preacher?
Yeah, my mother and father were from here. My dad was born and raised on Dunbar Street, where Allen Temple AME Church is. That's his home church.
Wow.
And my mother was raised up in the Travelers Rest area, where Mount Sinai Baptist Church is. And now most of her family is in the Washington Heights area.
Washington Heights.
So both of them are from here. When my dad decided to go to North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. Shout out to all the Aggies.
Okay.
I had to literally, when he came to Greensboro, him and my mother got married, he finished school, and then they had me. So I've been to Greenville, visited Greenville for Easters, Christmases, Thanksgiving holidays, summertime. With my grandmother who passed a few years ago. Oh, wow. But this is my first time actually living in Greenville.
But you were not born and raised here, or were you?
I wasn't born and raised here.
I was born and raised
in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yes,
North Carolina, man. Now, I see you're a very highly educated man. You've gotten your education through your school system of North Carolina.
Yes,
is where you were going to school.
Yes, sir.
Now, but both of your parents were educators.
Absolutely.
Now, how has that been raised by both parents being educators? I mean, you couldn't slack at all. If I imagine right?
You know, I tried one time.
Yeah.
To tell my parents that we weren't getting our report cards.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is in the days before email.
Yeah.
They would mail them to the house. Now, you know, my father looked at me one time and said, "You telling me you're not getting your report card?" And he's working in the same county school system, and all of his students got their report cards and stuff. Yeah. My mother was they call it Title I. She was a Chapter I reading teacher for over 30 years. My father was a principal, elementary school principal, for over 30 years as well. So, no, they didn't let me get by with too much.
I'm sure they did.
No, educate. They stressed education.
Wow.
And even when I got out of high school, you know, you got to take that year to find yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was glad to complete my BA degree in religion and philosophy from Carolina Christian College in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Wow.
Went on to get my master's of theology degree from Kansas City, Missouri, Midwestern Baptist Seminary.
Wow.
And then got a master's of divinity at Hood Theological Seminary in Salisbury, and an earned doctorate of ministry degree from Regent in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I'm thinking, once my second child is kind of halfway through school, I'm actually thinking about going back to get my PhD too.
Is that right?
I'm thinking about it.
You're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. Let's see.
So Dr. Battle, do you know why is it? And I know why this is as a licensed minister, also ordained.
Sure.
But why is it preaching? Was that an early thing that you wanted to do, or why do you think God called you to preach? Because you got to be called to do this.
You have to be called.
Yeah.
You know, one of my old mentors used to say, "Some were sent, others just went."
Come on now.
So you know, those are two different.
That's
you got to know God called you to do it. Yeah. I knew from the age of 5 I would preach.
Wow.
I wanted to preach. I wanted to pastor at age 5.
Wow.
At age 5.
5 years old.
On up to about 12.
Oh, my goodness.
At 12, once I got to middle school, you know, I kind of made a turn because, you know, like any young man, start getting involved in other things. I said, well, you know, maybe I'll be an attorney or something like that. And, you know, eventually around the age of 19, the Lord said, it's time for you to go forward because you can be called.
Come on now.
Many are called.
Come on.
But few are chosen.
Right.
And just because you called don't mean it's time for you to operate in that calling. You need to get somewhere and get some preparation.
That's good.
And that's where my parents came in with the education piece. My grandfather didn't have a chance to go to high school.
Wow.
My grandfather went in the military. He had a 6th grade education.
Wow.
My mom didn't get it. Well, my grandmother, excuse me, did not get a chance to go to college. She went to high school and completed her high school. That's as far as they went. So we owe that to our forefathers and mothers to get as much as you can, as much as you get as much as you can.
As much as you can.
Yes, sir.
So you came to Greenville, and your first church, and let's just say this, as a junior pastor, your first church you pastored was in North Carolina.
Yes,
how was that, being a junior pastor up under a pastor, so to speak? Like, was that your training ground?
It was. It was. A lot of my training came from the African Methodist Episcopal Church, as well as the Baptist Church. And believe it or not, on Sunday evenings, man, we would go to those Pentecostal churches.
Oh,
man.
my
So
goodness.
you're gonna,
I love Pentecostal.
when you hear me preaching and whatnot, you're gonna hear what they used to call a cornucopia. Come on, of three different styles of the denominations and preaching style. But again, my love for hymns and anthems of the church come from the AME Church. Of course, organization and preaching comes from that Baptist church. You can't beat the Dr. Watts, all those hymns and stuff like that. I love the Lord, He heard my cry. You can't beat that, man. I used to love listening to C.L. Franklin and F.D. Sampson, who's still alive, and some of these other guys. But then to go to that Pentecostal, man, I would get up in the morning on Sunday morning, watch the late Bishop Gilbert Earl Patterson,
man.
former presiding bishop of the Church of God in Christ, man. And so, a lot of the stuff I do even after the message is the result of watching him. So I think that, denominations are good, but they're also man-made.
For sure.
And you have to get what you can. A wise man will get what he or she can from any denomination. Get the good stuff. You chew the meat, but you also spit out the bone. Absolutely. But you have to be called to do this, man. Right. And you got to be a lover of learning. Because after 28 years, I've been preaching 28 years. 28 years. And then I was a staff pastor in Winston-Salem for 9 years, serving college students and young adults at Winston-Salem State, Wake Forest University. And then to go to my first church in September of 2013. It was a rural church. You had to get off the highway and pass several cows, and several chickens
just to find
get over there. But I learned to take care of people there because my first church, it was a rural church. And in the rural area, you got a lot of families.
Absolutely.
And I was like, why am I preaching on families all the time? Then I discovered, families are there. Y'all related. And so, but they taught, they didn't have much. They didn't have much, but man, when I think about some of those people that have gone on to be with the Lord, and they took care of my family and I, of course, my wife and I, and then my kids were much younger than they are now.
Yes, sir.
And they just taught me how to love people, how to take care of people, regardless of the backgrounds, regardless of where they come from.
Sure.
Whether they got $2 in their pocket or $20,000.
Come on.
We treat everybody the same.
The same. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So you came to this great Tabernacle Baptist Church in the city of Greenville in year, I think I've seen in your notes, was it 2021?
2021, September 2021. Yes, sir.
Now, how was that transition? You coming here, and do you know why God said here? Was it just opportunity, or what did you feel in your spirit when you came to Greenville?
It's a fun. Everybody asked me that. Everybody asked me that because they're like, okay, you were in North Carolina, if you'd come all the way here, and then once they realized, he had family here, but my family didn't go to this church. I had one cousin that went to this church. He died in November of 2017.
Wow!
And he left it on record. He wanted me to come and to eulogize him. Well, being a young man, but hanging around a lot of older preachers, I called my predecessor, the late Dr. Charles H. Davis, and I communicated to him the family's request. And they said, young man, you come on and you preach. Because I don't go in to this day. I don't go in anybody's pulpit without the permission of the senior pastor.
I'll contact them first.
If the lay people invite me, great. I'll be back in a minute. I got to talk to the pastor first.
Absolutely.
That's how we train. That's how we grow.
That's good training.
That's a whole nother sermon, but I'm not going to get into that.
That is good training right there.
You have to match you have to make sure your garment always matches your gift. And when I say that, I'm simply meaning you have a lot of people out here that want to pastor churches, want to have opportunities. They call them opportunities. There's nothing wrong with you having that opportunity. But God, where God guides, He not only does He provide, but your gift also makes room for you. That's what the Bible says.
That's what the Bible says.
And brings you before great men. You don't ever have to advertise or sell people who you are.
Come on.
God, once you get in the right position, God will put you in the right spot, and He'll make your name known. He'll make your name great. That's what He told Abraham.
We can't talk without preaching.
We got to do it. But let me go back to what you asked me. So anyway, I came to preach his eulogy. And Dr. Davis, after the funeral was over and we had done the committal at the graveside, we came back here. I wanted to speak to the family, and then I want to go to my favorite place to eat in Greenville, which is the Clock Drive-Thru. Get me a chili cheeseburger. Been doing it for years.
Wow.
But before I left, he said, young man, I want to show. He was showing me upstairs and downstairs, and in my mind, I'm like, why is this man showing me this building? I'm ready to get back home. He didn't know. I didn't know.
Wow.
But evidently God knew.
God knew.
And subsequently, I came back to preach for they had a seniors banquet.
Wow.
Came to preach for that.
Yeah.
And then when Dr. Davis died in November of 2018, I came back out of respect to his funeral. And then the rest just went on from there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes,
and
sir.
here you are.
And here I am.
Man, this is what I want to ask, because I know a few people go here, and I know that wonderful people have absolutely nothing bad to say about them. But this is what I love to ask pastors. When someone come to their church for the first time, when people walk in the doors of Tabernacle Baptist Church, what can they expect, and what will they feel when they walk in those doors? Never been here before.
Right.
What will the people of Tabernacle give that first time?
And thank you for asking that question too. I say to our leadership all the time, I am not the first person that people are going to meet when they come on Sundays.
Absolutely.
In the parking, they're going to meet people in the parking lot. They're going to meet ushers. They're the first impressions ministry of the church. You know, we call them ushers and still do back in the day.
Right.
Still do now. But, you know, it's important that you treat everybody with a smile. You don't know what that person has been through the course of the week.
That's right.
And of course, as we are, you know, approaching this pandemic stage, coming out of this pandemic, hopefully, I think COVID's going to always be around. But people have too many options.
Right.
They can sit at home and watch in the comfortability of their pajamas with their pancakes, orange juice. I know some people may have mimosa. You know, I know you don't know nothing like that.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about
They're having their corned beef hash and they're watching service and whatnot. But then for people to even put their clothes on, especially the way the weather is now, it's cold outside.
It sure is.
And people come, they want to hear a word. They want some authentic worship. The days for a whole bunch of fluff and long stuff, I mean, I really believe it's over.
Yeah.
You know, people are coming, they want their word, and they want to enjoy the word, and then go home for the rest of the week, or go back to work, go back out into a world that cares nothing about them.
Wow.
So they can hear that. So when you come to Tabernacle, you're going to feel a no judgment zone when you come here. Anybody can come here. You know, God said, you know, just as you are.
You're right.
You know, who are we to put limitations
and
restrictions on people?
Absolutely.
So you're going to feel some love when you come in that door. You're going to get a blend of traditional, because you know I'm a lover of hymns, so you know we're doing hymns. We're doing hymns, and this church is always sang the hymns of the church. You're gonna get some old traditional music. You'll get some new school music, whatnot, and then you know the preacher gonna try to get up and say something that's not just tell you a Bible story, but something that's applicable to your situation. So you can go back out the door and face a world that doesn't care anything about you. But you could say, but I heard the word through the man of God on Sunday.
Wow.
And this is what I heard.
Oh, that is so great. That's so great. I seen in your bio, Dr. Battle, that you are on several boards here in the city. So you're not only here to pastor and preach, but you're also here really to serve the community and to serve the people of God. Where have you, how have you found it so important to actually get out into the community and serve on these boards, like the school, I think here across the street from you is one of them that you serve at?
Yes, sir.
Why is that so important for you to be able to get out among the people and serve?
I've asked even this congregation on multiple times, if Tabernacle were to disappear from the scene, would it be missed not just by the church community, but would it be missed by the community in general? Wow. Let me be transparent with you. Sure. And of course, we don't have any secrets here. I remember when my wife and I first got married, for about 3 or 4 months, we were homeless.
Oh, wow.
And so she's from Chicago. She's from South Chicago. I'm, again, as I mentioned earlier, right here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah. And so you asked me, what is my burden? What's my passion? You know, why do I do what I do even outside of church? Because you have a community in this area. Sometimes we recycle members at other churches, but there's a great aggregation of people outside these doors that don't go to anybody's church. That's right. And there are times, I remember being homeless vividly. I remember my wife having to cook our meals on the George Foreman grill. I sure do. And whatnot. And so anytime I pull sometime in the parking lot and I see homeless guys sleeping out there with their wives or whatever, and I don't bother them. I remember I was pulling up one time and the guy said, I got to leave. I said, no, you don't have to leave. I said, just make sure you take your stuff with you when you leave and whatnot. Because I've been on the other side of the track. I understand that. I had a great, and please don't get me wrong, man. My parents, they took great care of us growing up. Great care of us. But I didn't know the side of poverty like I knew it until I got out there on my own. Oh my goodness. And the fact of the matter is, man, you have people now that's why I have so much passion to do what I do. Not just preaching the word of God, not just pastoring these wonderful people at Tabernacle, but you have some students that pull up every Monday morning. We're outside getting those kids out of the car in wake of what happened a few years ago at Tanglewood. With the school shooting and whatnot. Absolutely. We're not trying to preach to them or anything. We're just simply giving them that pat on the back, say, have a great day. And you'd be surprised, man, that some of these kids, what they grow up in, what they're around, and it marks them. You know, terribly. It does. And so, man, if we can, even if Tabernacle were to disappear, not just in the church community, because the church has been here for 152 years, but in the community, will it be missed. That's why we do our gas giveaways.
Right.
We're preparing to relaunch our food bank. We take care of the homeless, give them clothes and whatnot, whatever we can do. That's the mission of the church. That's the arms and feet of Jesus, man. Because you got some people that will never come through that door, but they will watch how we live our lives in the community, and that determines if they're gonna get closer to the God that we say we love and we serve.
Well, I tell you what, I don't see why you wouldn't have a reason to come to Tabernacle Baptist Church. I mean, my goodness, if I didn't have a church that I would go to, I certainly would be at Tabernacle Baptist Church. And that is the reason I wanted to come and talk to Dr. Battle, because I know he's doing a great work here at Tabernacle. We are so appreciative of you and your wife and your family. How many children?
3 children.
3 children. And how you serve here in this city, man. We just appreciate you so much. And just thank you for being a servant of the Lord, man. Awesome. We just appreciate that. I know you're not on social media much, but where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you or the church? If they not able to stop by, how can they get in touch if they need prayer, if they need assistance? How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. And thank you again for asking the question. So you can go to our church website, www.mytbchudson.org. The reason we changed and put my TBC is because there's another Tabernacle Baptist Church off White Horse Road. And don't get me wrong, when I first came to the city, that's the first church I went to. When I told you I was doing my uncle's usually, I pulled up, I said, this is not the right church. Something's not right here. And the lady was so kind to me. She said, "You're looking for the one on Hudson." I said, "Okay, thank you very much. I'll be out of your way." So that's why we put to kind of differentiate between their church and ours.
Okay.
You're free to call the church. We have full-time office staff here that's here from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Wow.
My administrative assistant, Sister Joyce
That's
Calloway.
a blessing.
Absolutely. You can call the church 864-235-3201, and there's somebody there to answer the phone, or you can leave a message. Okay. And we'll call you right back.
What a blessing.
Absolutely.
What a blessing.
And I'm a touchable guy, even though I have an administrative assistant, we have other staff people here. I like to talk to people personally.
I can tell.
So you're more than likely, even when she's not here, I'm going to be picking up the phone. They're like, "Oh, can I speak to the pastor?" You're already speaking to them.
Wow, man.
Pastors don't answer the phone. I can't speak to everybody.
They got the secretary to answer the phone.
Yeah, well, you got to be touchable, man. You got to be relevant to people, man. You got to be real with people too.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. The days of fluff and all this, and
come on, man,
getting through 30 people to talk to one person. I think that's just
what a great man, man. That great man of God. We appreciate you, Dr. Battle.
Yes, sir.
And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, thank you so much, Christopher Dillard, out here in this great community that we have, the Conduit and the Community Spotlight. And until next time, we'll see you. Take care.